What's up, Gary?
Oh man, it's a little something different I think this week. Maybe I'll get you to roam around the shop and chat with the motley crew that's here that fixes all these cars, from interiors to paint to welding and mechanical. So you got a chance to meet some of them. I don't think everybody's here, or some might be camera shy, but give you a tour around the shop, and next week we'll go back to actual highlighting some cars. We've got some new stuff in. We've got a 55 Chevy pickup that came from an auction in the States that we just did some preliminary stuff on, and now we're going to start tearing it apart, and we'll go through that and walk you through that one as well.
Awesome. Got a couple questions for you.
Oh no.
Kind of going around interviewing everybody. Basically, want to know how you got into cars or into the automotive industry.
Ooh, I think you can pretty much thank this fellow up on the wall here behind me. That's my pops. He was a mechanic with Ford way back, and actually prior to that, in England, he actually worked on trucks, and then he came to Canada, and he was a mechanic, Brown Brothers Ford in Vancouver. And cars were always around. Every Friday, Saturday, he'd bring like a Mach 1 or a Trino GT or something home, and of course I'd get to go out in that stuff with him. It started off simple, mini bikes, go-karts.
You even worked your way up into working in the trades, correct?
Oh yeah. My background is, what happened was I was working in West Vancouver and North Vancouver, and I got an apprenticeship at Amco Transmissions way back in the day, and I started there, and I started with an apprenticeship driveline specialist in hydraulic and fluid. And then in the middle of all that, me and a buddy of mine decided to come to Ontario. So after a interesting little tour across Canada, we ended up in Toronto. And the next day I was here, I got a job at a transmission shop on Eastern Avenue in Toronto. So it kind of went from there. I started my own side business doing racing transmissions, and it just kept going.
Rest is history.
Rest is history. Race cars. Finished getting my my qualifications. When I first started this business, I built, I sold, everything. I was all by myself in a small shop, and then I added one guy in, outgrew that, bought some other businesses up and merged them all together. So it's been an interesting journey.
Awesome. Last question. What was your first car?
Ooh.
Very first car. If you remember.
I do remember. I'm getting old, but I still remember. Funny enough, the first car I owned, I didn't even have a driver's license, and it's the same as one in the back there. It was a 65 Beaumont.
Really cool.
Yeah, so a 327 Power Glide car. So I rebuilt the 327, and I put a 4-speed in it, white with a red interior. It was a lot of fun. We did some crazy stuff back in the early days. We used to work at a little Chevron station. The guy would give us the key at night, and we'd work until late and then throw the key back through the exhaust port. And we had Ford Cyclone 394 speed cars. We were the first guys out there that put V8s in Vegas. Now that's old news, but back then, twisting the cars in half. Got kicked out of auto shop in school for sticking a 283 in an MG. And after the first go round, we couldn't get the doors open. All that regular stuff you do when you're young and stupid, right?
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, and let's go,
go
meet the crew.
Do for a walk. It's not really a tequila walk this week, but do a little tour and meet the rest of them that are here. Great crew of people. Yeah. So anyway, enjoy.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is Carrie. Carrie, how's it going?
Good, how's it going?
Good, just working on some upholstery stuff there, are you?
Yes, I'm working on some accent pieces for the GTO.
Super cool. Yeah, we saw that. I think I got a couple of clips I can throw in of what the GTO interior is looking like. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're done doing that pass, maybe I'll ask you a couple quick questions for the viewers. Right. Well, first question is, how'd you get into the automotive industry?
Well, I can thank my father for that. I have a fashion degree background, and my dad used to own a body shop doing classic cars, and with my passion of cars, I reupholstered my first car, and it dawned on my father, hey, guess what my daughter can do? So ever since then, for the last 20 years, I've been building my experiences and into the automotive industry.
That is super cool. And you do boat interiors, everything like that
Boats,
too.
motorcycles, sled seats. I do custom, I do stock, but I really like the custom.
Now I got a quick question for you. What was your first car?
It was, if I get the year right, it was a 1991 Beretta GT.
Wow,
Fully
super
custom
cool.
painted and a full custom white and black Chevy interior in it.
Did you guys do that paint job and everything yourself? Or?
My dad painted it, yep.
Wow, that's super cool. And you don't have it anymore, do you?
I have a picture on my phone of that car.
Cool,
And
super
I had
cool.
a collection of them. I ended up with 3 Berettas.
Ooh, that's an addiction.
Yes.
Awesome, Carrie. Well, thanks a lot, eh?
All right, take care.
Sup, Dave?
Sup?
AKA the Don. What's your position here?
I don't know. It depends on who you ask.
Pretty much everything, right?
Everything. I get into a little bit of everything here. Yeah.
And you're kind of running the show in the back end.
I'd like to think so.
And a couple questions for the viewers then. How'd you get into working in classic cars, muscle cars, custom cars in general?
That started at a very, very, very young age. Barely being able to ride a bicycle, and my dad running alongside of the car that I had just popped into neutral to try to drive down our side street, yelling at me to open the door and open the door and open the door. And that happened a couple times. That's kind of what got me hooked, I think. My dad was always monkeying with something, building something out in the driveway and out in the backyard. And
Did he work in the auto body industry at all, or was
no,
he?
it was a home thing. He did it all for himself. Like a lot of families back in the 70s and 80s, not everybody had a ton of cash kicking around to go and get stuff done for them. So, everybody did what we had to do and made things work for ourselves.
Super cool. And you got quite a bit of background in welding, fabricating, metalworking, and
Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Right through high school. High school was a big kicker for me. Everybody's starting to get into cars and trucks and everything else and building, stuff to go fast. And, it started from there. I liked the body and paint aspect of it, and building something that was me and not just get in, step on the gas and go. Everything that I've pretty much ever purchased, whether it be a toy like a dirt bike or a sled or a quad or a go-kart or a car or truck, whatever it is, I've always done something to it. I can't leave it alone. It's not in my nature to be the cookie cutter vehicle type. I've got to be different.
got to stand out, right?
Have to.
And what's kind of your favorite thing to be doing? Metalwork, building custom chassis, or do you have a preference in what you like doing?
More recently, I've been getting into the chassis suspension end of it. Really like that. I've always done a little bit of metalwork, just kind of on the side at home in my own garage. Painting is a big thing for me. I like to be that person that can stand back and see what the end product is of all the work that everybody puts into it. It's kind of nice to be the first person to see the end result. It's very, very gratifying.
Super cool. Last question.
Yeah.
What was your first car?
My very first car.
Very first car.
Very first car. A bit of a story behind that. As a kid, my dad liked to sit home with his wobbly pop while he sent me up to the local pizza place and pick up the Friday night dinner. One night in particular, I went up to pick up our pizza, and the owner of this pizzeria said, if your dad happens to be looking for a car, I've got one for sale. I got it out behind the shop here. I said, well, let's have a look at it. So we went back, had a look. It so happens it was a 1969 Pontiac 400 Rammer.
No way.
Yeah.
Badass first car.
Woke up the next morning to him banging on my door asking what the hell that was sitting in his driveway.
And you came out and there's a for sale sign on it, I
I came
heard.
out and he came walking out of his garage, stuck a for sale sign in it, 2 weeks later, he sold it at a garage sale and
Bummer.
kept the money for himself.
Well,
Yeah, it could have just been because he didn't want me having a faster car than him.
ooh, low blow. Awesome, Dave. Well, I appreciate your time. On to the next one.
All right.
This is Shelby. Shelby, a couple questions for you.
Sure.
We're asking everybody here that works for Radical, you know, how they got into the trade or cars in general. Care to tell us a little bit about your background or how you got into working on cars?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short. I started drag racing when I was 7 years old. My
Oh, cool.
parents were really into that stuff, so I've kind of always had a passion for it. My first job was at a go-kart track,
Yeah.
and then after high school, I was in real estate. I was in that industry for like 6 years.
You decided to get out of that, did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least the cars don't talk back. Right?
Wow, there you go.
But no, I've always had a passion for cars and stuff. So I started at a collision shop about 4 years ago now, and I don't have any complaints. So
Really cool. And you can weld, you can fabricate,
Yeah.
you do body work, and that's what you're doing right now, working on a hood, but
yeah, just scuffing it down. But yeah, I mean, fabrication and welding and stuff is more of like my
where you
thing.
enjoy it the
That's
most.
That's what I'm into. Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah,
Super cool.
Sanding is hard work.
Is there anybody that is in the automotive industry that kind of you're inspired by? Females, males?
She works on her own, but she's a welder and a fabricator in her own. She builds roll cages in her backyard. Mini truck mommy. You know, I love her style. I love her look. Like she's got all the long nails and everything, and she just doesn't like care what anyone thinks. She just does her thing.
And a hell of a fabricator probably,
Yeah,
right?
she's cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Last question. What was your first car?
A Chrysler Neon.
A Chrysler Neon?
Yeah.
What color was it?
Burgundy.
Burgundy. Okay. Well, thanks for your time. Let's go see who else we got here. What's up, guys? I'm Mike, aka Mad Mike. I work here at Radical. I do fabrication, metalwork, bodywork, help out with the guys in the paint shop, kind of jump around all over the place. I started off in the auto body industry by doing co-op for like body shops, L&M Auto Body, and there was another guy named Mike Kirk. He had an auto glass shop, so I started working for him. I think I was like 18 at the time, and I was learning how to do upholstery and changing out windshields and glass. But he was into muscle cars. He had a Nova himself, and there was a Lamborghini replica kit car in the showroom at the time. So at 18, I really started getting into it. But I really started getting into cars when I saw Fast and the Furious, and I got my license at 16. And I guess I've been going around asking everybody what the first car was. My first car was a 1991 Honda CRX SI, and that was a badass car. It's good enough. Then we have Jamie. What's up, Jamie?
Not much. How's it going, Mike?
Just going around, kind of introducing everybody that works here at Radical, and you were next.
All right, let's do it.
So, quick question for you. How did you end up getting into the automotive industry, working on cars?
Well, I started in the transport trucking business, and then from there, I started on my first restoration. We had a Camaro Z28 come in, and I was just kind of told to start. Had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of started and went with it. I had a couple people guiding me in the right direction, and from there, I found this.
Awesome.
I found out working here. And
Super cool.
yeah.
And what is it that you do here? Mainly body work, or?
I do a little bit of everything. I've done a lot of, when I first started, I did a lot of welding that I wasn't really expecting. Welding is what I've always wanted to do since I was very little.
Everybody loves the metal work.
You can't deny that, right? So yeah, it was just, I've been doing a lot of that, mostly body work though here, getting everything prepped and ready for paint, hoping one day to pick up a paint gun and finish the job myself.
I'm sure that'll happen here. Super cool. And last question for you. Do you remember what your first car is that you ever owned?
That I ever owned? It was a Pontiac, what make was it?
Sunfire?
Yeah, it was a sunflower.
Was it a sunflower? A sunflower. There you go. Super cool. Well, thanks for your time. We'll go see who else is around.
See ya.
What's up, Bill?
Hey, my name is Bill. Just working on a Chevy 1991 Chevy Silverado. Just rebuilt the engine. We're now just doing the final plumbing and wiring and exhaust work, and I'm just about to slip in the chrome filter element that we have for the top of it.
Beautiful. And you're Radical's engine builder, mechanic, and you kind of have this whole area over here to yourself to kind of do all the mechanical stuff, correct?
Yes, I do.
Great, awesome.
Yeah.
And another quick question for you. How did you end up getting into the automotive industry? Did you have family in it, or?
I did have family. Uncles had Mueller's Custom Garage and Machine in Duntruen, a small town outside of Collingwood, Ontario. And I got my apprenticeship there. But overall, as I just was very interested at a very young age in classic cars.
Yeah.
And that's what took it all from there. I did sign up to be a mechanic with my uncle, but soon realized when I slipped into that back shop where they were building the engines in the machine shop, I realized that that's what I wanted to end up doing.
That was your happy place?
That's my happy place.
Awesome, and I'll give the viewers a quick glimpse of your little engine rebuild area here. And
yeah, which is just coming together nicely, a little bit here and there, but in the near future, we will even have that more expanded.
Really cool. Last question for you, Bill. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1968 Buick LeSabre, actually purchased off the gentleman that my uncle bought the garage in Duntruen. He was the previous mechanic in that garage, and it used to be a Texaco station, and he had that there, and I saw it in his driveway with a for sale sign on it, and that was my first car when I was 16 years old.
That is cool. Probably ran like a top because it was owned by a mechanic.
350 Buick, owned by a mechanic, full leather, was a four-door, but still 1968.
That's cool. Awesome, Bill. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Never a shortage of stuff around here, so keep watching.